Welcome, friends. This is Jospeh Barry Shulamn. We are in Nashville, Tennessee, and we're sorry it's late. It's 9:30 on Monday, October 9th. We wanted to reach out to you and start a conversation to give you some insight, some media perspectives that we're hearing daily in Israel, some feelings and emotions that we're hearing from brothers and sisters around the world, from brothers and sisters in Israel. And we hope that this will create a dialogue, that it will give you some context that you may not hear locally in the countries and the news outlets that are available to you. So we appreciate you being here with us this evening. One of the things that I wanted to talk about was life has changed in Israel. Life is changing around the world. Israel is the center of the news again. And not for things that bring joy to the nation or bring a sense of pride. And what I wanted to talk about was that whatever we see happening in Israel is happening also around the world right now. I posted a video of an El Al flight leaving Los Angeles today. It's on the Netivyah USA page here where you guys are. And it has to have police escort to leave the airport, to taxi out to the runway, to take off to return to Tel Aviv. That's in America. That's not in Israel. And the lives that you all live have the ability to make an impact in your country, around your neighbors, around your friends, for the support of Israel, for your example of faith and love to the people of Israel at this time. And terrorism in all forms and fashion is meant to sow fear, is meant to change humanity's reaction into hiding, into not wanting to be counted, not wanting to be heard. I've already had people reach out to me and say that I should be concerned about publicly expressing my heritage, my language, my culture, my nation. But that's something that's not in the DNA of the people of God. To sit and be silent, to be fearful. Now is the time to stand and be vocal and be heard. Now is the time to have courage. And this was the message that echoed in Israel back in the 80s when I was a child and they were blowing up buses. People got back on buses the next day, the same day, and continued to go to town. So we are sad but proud tonight of the nation of Israel's coming together, joining from all walks of life. People are joining to contribute blood, to contribute food, to contribute anything that the soldiers are asking for in Israel right now is flowing in. And one of the things that we want to do is encourage people to support Israel. This is not a one-day event. That's why I said that we want to do a nightly recap of what's happening, because this is going to be drawn out for a while. And we want to draw out our love and support in a measure in the same way for the nation and from the nations. You are partners from the nations to show love to the nation of Israel. Dad, what do you got to say?
Well, this is not the first time that this kind of situation has happened to Israel's history. And the amazing thing is that in God's Word, we have, all the way from the book of Leviticus, promises that if Israel doesn't walk in the ways of the Lord and hardens its heart and rejects God's law and discipline, some hard things are going to happen to the nation of Israel. The text in the book of Leviticus says, the land will vomit you. And it did. It did when the Babylonians in the 6th century BC destroyed Jerusalem, sacked the temple, took the people of Jerusalem and the elite and the nobility and the priesthood to Babylon. We have the book of Daniel that is written in Babylon by a Hebrew man with 3 Hebrew friends, co-workers that worked in the palace of the king of Babylon. And then when Cyrus became king of Babylon, the Jews asked to return back to the land of their forefathers. He gave them an edict and gave them a lot of money to rebuild Jerusalem and to restore the land. And at that time, Babylon and actually the Babylon-Persian Empire was a great empire that ruled a large part of Asia, South Asia, and all the way to the border with Egypt. And Ezra and Nehemiah were both clerks, were working in the palace for the king. And they begged to return back to their land, to the land of their forefathers. And Cyrus the king, in fact, in the book of Isaiah, he's called Mashiach, he's called Messiah, gives them this money and an edict, a letter of approval, an imperial letter to return back. They returned with 40, or the first wave, 40,000 Jews. So what happened? They were resisted. They were persecuted. They had to rebuild the torn down walls of Jerusalem with one hand holding the trowel and with another hand the sword or the spear. And who were the people that were objecting to their return to the land? Sanballat the Arab, the Moabite, the Ammonite, neighbors on the east of Israel. So nothing has changed. There is a resistance by the same elements that resisted Israel returning from Babylon. They're now resisting the Jewish people returning back to the land that God gave them as an everlasting inheritance. According to Genesis chapter 13, verse 15, I think it is, God swears to Abraham, to him and to his seed, that this land is an everlasting inheritance. So Israel sinned again. They went to exile again. Jerusalem was sacked again. The temple was destroyed again. The year 70 AD. And who is now resisting, fighting, lying, deceiving, trying to rewrite history? The same old neighbors. Same old neighbors. The fact is that most of the land of Israel didn't belong to the serfs that were brought there from other Arab countries by rich Arab effendis that lived in Switzerland, in Paris, in London, in Istanbul, and came once a year to collect their money from the serfs, sharecroppers that didn't own that land. But now the Jews are fulfilling the prophecies that God gave to their prophets 1800 years ago. They're returning home, miraculously returning home. The Russians didn't want to let them go from Russia in the 1970s, and then finally opened up at the late 1980s, and thousands of Russian Jews came to Israel. Before that, the Arabs didn't want to let the Jews out of their own country to come here. They came, they walked, some of them walked on foot from Yemen to Israel, to Jerusalem. The war is not really over the land. The Arabs have a lot more land. Huge lands. Egypt by itself is 4 or 5 times the size of the whole Middle East. And there are no Jews there that are wanting the Egyptian land. Syria, there were very, very educated doctors, professors, bankers, Jews in Syria. They had to run for their life. There was pogroms, there was, massacres of Jews in Aleppo, in 1926 in Hebron. Pregnant women their stomachs were open to take out their babies and smash them against the walls. By who? Not by God, but the same people that objected to Ezra and Nehemiah returning, objected to the Jews returning. But the Jews blessed the land. I can tell you from my own personal experience. I traveled in the land immediately after the 6-Day War. Some of the villages that today are living in luxury, villas made from stone and marble, huge homes of people that didn't know how to read and write 30 years ago. Yes, they prospered together with Israel. But that deep sown hatred, satanic hatred that these people have against Israel and against the Jews and against the West. Don't let them fool you. They hate Christians just as much as Jews. Yasser Arafat said, first we're going to take the Sabbath and then we'll take the Sunday. What he meant is, first we're going to kill the Jews, then after that we're going to kill the Christians. Yes, we are dealing here with a very, very complex situation of people that are driven by hate, by racism, by anti-Semitism. And the West, they want to play footsie with them. They don't understand that the poison that Israel is eating today, tomorrow is going to be served to people in Nashville and Atlanta and Miami and Washington, D.C. and L.A. and Las Vegas and Minnesota and Dakota. Yes, the issue is not a simple issue, folks. And if Israel folds and allows these terrorist elements to continue living and surviving and flourishing, the virus is going to hit you wherever you live, whether it's in Stockholm or in Cape Town, whether it is in Sao Paulo or whether it is in Manila. Yes, we are aware of this, folks. That hate is not only a hate for the Jews, it's hate for the Jews and the Christians, and even the Christians are hated more, are considered pagan idolaters by Islam and by these elements, Islamic terroristic elements. Yes, Israel is standing in the gap for all of us, for all of you. If Israel folds, if Israel destroyed, if the Jews are driven away from their land again, the virus, the microbes, the filth is going to reach you no matter where you are in the world. There were 900 people slaughtered, not killed, slaughtered.
So far.
So far, the count is 900. Slaughtered with a knife. I have videos, I have pictures of Israeli soldiers, 18-year-old boys, laying in pools of blood with their throats sliced, cut, by other 18, 19, 17, 20-year-old Arabs with hate in their eyes, with blood, Jewish blood, in their appetite, in their desire. Yes, this is not a joke, folks. This is a short sharing between Barry, my son, and myself to tell you, mobilize, help Israel, help the Jewish believers in Israel. We already lost the son of one of the pastors from Jerusalem, from Beit Hallel congregation. And he was in the army with one of our brothers, workers in Netivyah, in our organization, in our fellowship. They sliced his throat, threw him on the desert sand, and allowed his blood to water that sand. And that blood, like the blood of Abel, that shouted from under the ground after Cain killed him and buried him. And it says that the blood of Abel continued to shout from under the ground for the horror, the hate that his brother had for him. Yes, that blood, innocent blood that was shed of 900 innocent people, children, babies, mothers, old people, young people, not all soldiers that were slaughtered in the last 48 hours, their blood is not going to stop shouting. And I hope in your hearts you hear it. You hear the pain, you hear the torture, you hear the hate that emanated from these Hamas, ultra-radical Muslims that had no mercy on babies and on children, on mothers and on old women. Yes. You know that kind of virus will spread faster than the corona. If just people close their eyes and let it continue. You could say, well, it's far from me, it's in Israel, it's in Jerusalem. Yes, it's in Israel and in Jerusalem today.
But so was the coronavirus. Where was it initially? It was far away.
Until it reached your home.
Until it reached here. You know, some of the things that I read in the news today, saw on the live stream all day today, was that they showed, you know, there was a huge outdoor like music festival, maybe like Woodstock if you needed something to compare it to, where all these young Israelis were camped out and enjoying bands playing music out in the desert. They had videos of the terrorists flying in on ultralights over the border after they breached the borders. And from the air and from the ground, they assaulted these young people. There's videos you can see on the news of them running for their lives. They chased them down in vehicles, shot them, shot the vehicles. As of today, they've recovered 272 bodies of these young people.
Young people.
When you consider that they've counted 1,000 bodies so far, these were families in all of the outlying cities, neighborhoods, however you want to call them, settlements, where they went in and they murdered complete families, wiped out families. That's unheard of. That reminds me of stories of what happened to the Jewish people in Europe in World War II. That type of hate and destruction of life.
But in the meantime, I want to tell you, we have 4 men from our congregation. Some of them were born and raised in our congregation, who are in called back to the military to have active duty in elite units, Israel elite military units. And they asked for help. The military has neglected equipping those soldiers with the right equipment so that they can do a good job and be able to function comfortably in the field. Every year we give hundreds of very useful gifts to the soldiers. All the believer soldiers in the Israeli Defense Force receive gifts from Netivyah. And we gave this year a wonderful gift to help them and enable them to talk on their cell phones even from the field, and even if they're a week or 2 weeks in the field, a way that they can recharge their batteries on their phones and or their instruments so that they can continue having communication with their home, with their brothers and sisters, with their mothers and fathers, grandparents. But now one elite unit asked us to help them get modern new helmets. Their helmets are from 50 years ago, a model that was 50 years old. And they asked for help. Each helmet cost 1,000 shekel. 1,000 shekel is about $340 for each of these modern helmets. We want to help them. We want to help them, and we ask you to help us help our soldiers with special flashlights that they have on top of the helmet, with the helmets, with equipment for making coffee in the field with equipment to do other things that they need done, like a small towel to be able to wash their face in the morning after they've been in the dust, in patrol, in ambush all night long. Yes, we must help our soldiers, and we will help them. We need you to partner with us for the sake of our soldiers, and help us help them, and show our appreciation to them for their lives, for their sacrifice, and for their tenacity, dedication. We have a couple that was in London. She is pregnant and he had a leg injury. They got on a plane and went to their base and returned to active duty. Yes, very dedicated to the country, to the cause, to the Jewish existence in the land of Israel, the land that God promised to Abraham and to Isaac and to Jacob as an everlasting inheritance. You are partners, dear brothers and sisters. Help us. Go to the Netivyah webpage. Contribute. You can contribute if you need tax exemptions and things like that to contribute to Netivyah in America. If you don't, you can contribute to Netivyah in Israel. We need your help. And we have almost never, if ever, very, very, very seldom asked for help, verbally and openly, because this goes to our soldiers. God bless you all.
We will see you tomorrow night again. Hopefully I intend to do it maybe around closer to 6 o'clock Central Standard Time in the United States. I have a desire to improve the stream. We're doing it off of a phone. Some of the stuff I tried to do on the computer was not functioning yet, but I will improve the quality of the stream that we deliver. But one of the things I would like for y'all to keep in prayer, as well as tomorrow, Dad will be flying to Brazil. We'll be in Brazil for the next 10 days. So if you could lift him in prayer for a safe trip, a meaningful engagement with the brothers and sisters in Brazil, and a return home. Mom, Marcia, will be here with us. We'll watch over her and her health. So please pray for her as well. Beyond that, we are blessed. We're blessed to have friends like you. We're blessed to have people who love God. And thank you for watching us tonight. Please share and post our page. Have people join us, join you, and make a difference, all for the glory of God. Laila Tov, good night, and God bless you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.